Al-Haytham is one of the new Sumeru characters that we got to see in 3.0. An interesting aspect about his appearance is the headphones that he wears. Let's dive into what its purpose could potentially be, as well as discussing and analyzing his fight with Cyno in the trailers. The headphones that Al-Haytham wears cover his entire ear, similar to headphones that we wear in real life. It also has a wire attached to it that travels down a bit in front of his body before being tucked behind it. From the back, it goes down to his lower back area and stops there by being covered by clothing. It has a green or aqua color pattern fitting the Sumeru color theme. Something to know about the headphones is that they are very similar in appearance to the Akasha terminal. Now, this brings me to my first theory, the bypass or filter theory. However, before I dive into this theory and any of my other theories, I think it's somewhat important to explore how this device is powered. We know that the headphones are connected to a wire that travels across the front and then down to his lower back area. What the end of the wire is connected to, we have no clue, which makes this power source prediction even more difficult to make. If I were to guess though, it might be similar to how real-life wired headphones are made. Most wired headphones have jacks at the end of the wire which you can plug into the device you want to play or listen to stuff from. Al-Haytham's could have a similar thing where it has a jack at the end and has a special device that it's plugged into which works as a power source. The power itself most likely is leyline energy, but it is entirely possible that it could be a potentially different power source entirely. Now that we propose a basis for how these headphones are powered, let's now explore my theories with this assumption in mind. Based on its similarity in appearance to the Akasha terminal, along with the fact that the Akasha terminal is worn on the ears, this theory proposes that the headphones serve as a means to either filter specific information from being accessed or restricted, or bypasses restrictions set by the academia. While Al-Haytham is a Haravata member in the academia, like everyone else, there may be certain aspects of knowledge that he is not granted to access via the Akasha terminal. This is more the case because he even goes as far as spending more and talking to Dory to acquire knowledge he finds interest in. Thus, the headphones could serve as a work-in-progress technology which will eventually allow him to access the hidden knowledge within the Akasha. Knowing that he has interest in the divine knowledge capsules, it is possible that he may use the headphones to allow him to bypass the academia's restriction and management system entirely. It would then allow him to retain the knowledge he gets from the capsules, especially ones that contain more secretive or classified information. A potential issue with this theory though is that the Akasha terminal is on the outside of his headphones. Now, whether this has any effect on the headphones functionality under this theory is difficult to explain. Now next is the audio enhancement system theory. Now this theory involves references to the Honkai lore, specifically regarding the character Su. It's quite obvious that Al-Haytham is an XP of Su. One key attribute about Su, as observed from other characters like Alicia and even his own avatar, is that he seems to always have his eyes closed to the point where he gives off the impression of being blind, which, by the way, he isn't blind, he just does it by himself. It is entirely possible that they could have taken this concept and applied it to Haytham's ears, which would mean Haytham could be hard of hearing or even potentially fully deaf in concept, and his headphones function similar to a cochlear where it allows him to hear. This parallels the Greater Lord's alleged death and how her death is associated with the disappearance of nature's voice in Sumeru. It's also entirely possible that Haytham wasn't born deaf and is instead done because of something that either happened over time due to the environmental factors or as punishment for something that he did that he shouldn't have done. Now, knowing his extreme level of rationality, it is kind of safe to say that the latter of these two possibilities is just as plausible as the prior. And now my last theory, which is that the headphones are just purely decorative. Now, hilariously, this could end up simply being just a decorative choice that he made to have them on in order to give an impression on people that makes him stand out from others. It is possible that this could also be gifted to him by someone else and he chooses to wear it for their sake. The Akasha-like design suggests this gifter could be someone else in the academia, or maybe even his quote higher-ups, as he sometimes says. This decorative aspect may also have something to do with his gameplay, which may involve the concept of sound as a whole. Alright, those are all the theories that I have thus far and done and out of the way, so let's now dive into a theme which may influence his overall character design, gameplay, etc. as we progress into later patches and he finally becomes playable. This theme is related to his name, Al-Haitham. Haytham, which is sometimes spelled with a Y, is of Arabic origin and a generally well-known Middle Eastern name which translates to young eagle or young hawk. The name Al-Haytham is shared with Ibn al-Haytham, who was an Arab mathematician, astronomer, and physicist during the Islamic Golden Age. This period of time was from the 8th to 14th centuries and involved cultural, economic, and scientific development in Islamic history. One of Ibn's most notable works is the Book of Optics, which proposed theories regarding human sight and explaining the reasoning for how vision occurs. This coincidentally ties into Su, who it seems Al-Haitham is an ex-B of, who happens to self-limit his own sight despite not being blind. Now, back to Haytham's name meaning, hawks and eagles represent similar things, especially among Americans. Eagles tend to act as a symbol for pride and independence, while hawks symbolize courage and swiftness, as well as being known to be animals that are observant and meticulous. For now, the hawk seems to represent Haytham's current personality a bit more than an eagle, as he is very meticulous with his approach to certain situations and tends to observe and analyze before making his own moves. This behavior can be seen in his fight against Cyno, where Cyno is on the aggressive side while Haytham chooses to remain on the defensive. Now, of course, we don't know just yet how the entire fight plays out or why it plays out in the first place, but that's just a really quick analysis of the preview that we got from the 3.1 trailer. Something to also note is that he has sort of an eagle or hawk symbol on his chest, with a necklace appearing to seem to represent the beak of the bird. This further pushes the notion that his name's meaning has some application to his design and him as a character. The last thing I want to go over is this fight here with Cyno and Haytham. At first, I thought it was them just sparring and it was a fun little event moment with Dehia breaking them up and everything, and she was smiling and all that. However, as time passed on and now with an in-game version of this fight taking place, I'm beginning to think differently because for one, we now have confirmation that this fight actually does happen and it wasn't just in the animated video for funsies, and two, it further shows the potential internal conflicts among those who are involved with the academia. In the fight scene, we see Cyno going on the aggressive, which implies he knows or has heard of Haytham doing something and he is acting out to serve his punishment. This would imply that this is their first interaction together in front of the Traveler, because in the scene, the Traveler, along with Haytham, looks shocked by how fast Cyno goes into attack. Also, it seems that this is a case where we're with Haytham and Cyno shows up, not vice versa. An important question Cyno asks is, did the sages share any information about their project with you? Now, I assume this question is directed towards Haytham since he works as the academia's scribe and reports researchers' findings and writes administrative papers for the sages. Why Cyno asks this is interesting in itself, mainly because we don't know what he is talking about, or well, not exactly, but we have a pretty good idea that it's probably related to Scaramouche as well as a samsara that happened during the 3.0 Archon quest. This leaves all to be revealed in the update coming this Wednesday, and I can't wait. Alright, and that concludes this Al-Haitham video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next video, bye-bye.